Hello all, welcome to the lecture series in environmental science and sustainability. So in this series, we first discuss about the introduction to biodiversity. The introduction to biodiversity. Biodiversity refers to the variety of life on Earth, encompassing different species, ecosystems, and genetic variations. It plays a crucial role in maintaining ecological balance, providing ecosystem services, and supporting human well being. In a simple line, biodiversity means it's a variety and variability among the living species. So, what is biodiversity? Here we can classify into three types. One is definition for biodiversity, and types of biodiversity, and importance of biodiversity. So, what is the definition for biodiversity? Biodiversity includes all living organisms from the smallest microbes to the largest mammals and their interactions with the ecosystem. And the types of biodiversity can be specifically classified into a species diversity, a genetic diversity, ecosystem diversity, and each of them contributing uniquely to the environmental health. What is the importance of biodiversity then? The biodiversity supports the ecosystem functions, resilience, and provision of essential service like clean air, water, and food. Without biodiversity, we can't live in a better environment. So the biodiversity means it includes all the living organisms from the smallest to the largest one. Then we can go with the values of biodiversity. So what are the values of biodiversity? There are three types of values for biodiversity. One is ecological value, and another one is economic value. The third one is cultural value. So, what is ecological value? The biodiversity ensures ecosystem stability and resilience, allowing ecosystem to recover from disturbances and continue functioning effectively. That means biodiversity ensures the ecosystem stability. Any disturbance in the stability will be managed by the biodiversity. And what is the economic value? We know that the biodiversity, the economic value is we use many types of products from the ecosystem, such as agricultural, which is used in industries and pharmaceutical things. Many plants have been used for uh, medicine preparation, and many woods or many living things can be utilized in industries, which include agriculture and tourism for aesthetic values. Many of them visit certain places. We get economically better things from the tourism. So, like that, many industries, including agriculture, pharmaceutical, and the tourism, which they rely on biodiversity for resources and services that drive economic growth. Then the cultural values. Biodiversity enriches human culture, providing aesthetic, spiritual, and recreational benefits. So we visit many botanical parks and some other places like forest, natural parks, and wildlife sanctuaries because of its recreational benefits and aesthetic values. So, like the way the biodiversity enrich human culture and it provides aesthetic and also spiritual values. We worship snakes, we worship certain trees, and the recreational benefits fostering between the people and the community. And we learned that what is biodiversity and what are the values of biodiversity. And nowadays, we face many threats to the biodiversity. The threats to biodiversity can be classified in The things like habitat destruction. The second one is pollution, and the third one is climate change. So, what is habitat destruction? So, due to the increasing population and the urbanization, we go for a deforestation. So, we go for deforestation and expand our living areas and expand our agricultural lands. And significantly, the agricultural the expansion and deforestation reduces the habitats of animals and increases the habitats of the human being, leading to a species extinction and a loss of an ecosystem. This usually happens near the mountains or near the forest, which leads to the man-animal disaster. That means the man-animal clash. And the second one is pollution. The contamination of air, contamination of water, and contamination of soil can harm wildlife and degrade the habitats, posing serious threats to the biodiversity. So the biodiversity threats is also happen due to the pollution. For the pollution and the main source or the main contaminating agent is from the human activities. Then the climate change. Alterations in climate condition, disruption, and which disturb the ecosystem. The climate change may be due to the pollution and the deforestation. All these having some chain effect. So alterations in climate condition disturb the ecosystem and it disturbs the species distribution, increases the risk of extinction for vulnerable species. So many species lost their habitat. We even many species become vulnerable and many species become extinct. So these are the main threats we face in biodiversity aspect. All these have some interlinkages because deforestation leads to climate change, pollution leads to climate change, global warming, etc. And the conservation strategies. How can we conserve this biodiversity? One of the main thing is protected area. That means by establishing the natural national parks and the reserve forests that can help safeguard habitats and species from human activities. Those places where in which human activities are not been allowed, which safe for the species to live and to enlarge their activities. Then the sustainable practices. By promoting a sustainable agricultural, forestry, and fishing practices can minimize human impact on ecosystem while supporting biodiversity. And the restoration efforts, we can restore the things. That means we can rehabilitate the degraded ecosystems and we can recover the species population. And due to the scientific research, we enhance the biodiversity and develop and protect the vulnerable species, which cannot be lead to an extinction one. And finally, the role of individual plays a very important role in conservation of biodiversity. That means awareness and education. So we should educate oneself and we should educate the conservation and the need and importance of biodiversity from the childhood and education oneself and others about biodiversity can foster a culture of conservation and responsible environmental stewardship. Another is sustainable choices, making informed choices like reducing the waste, supporting sustainable products can contribute to biodiversity conservations. Then volunteerism. So the people in the local area should voluntarily involve in the conservation of things like planting trees, monitoring the wildlife, and cleaning the local areas and maintaining the local ecosystem, etc. So, what is the future of biodiversity? The future of biodiversity can be classified into three angles. One is global, technological, and public engagement. So in global, international agreements like Convention on Biodiversity are essential for collaborating efforts in conserving global biodiversity from the international level aspect so that the India can collaborate with the neighboring countries and the countries around the world to conserve the biodiversity. Like biodiversity recognized, UNESCO recognized biodiversity areas are there in India, which is funded by UNESCO so that we can maintain the biodiversity without any loss. Then technological innovations, advanced technologies such as genetic engineering, remote sensing can aid biological monitoring and conserve strategies. And public engagement, it's a very important aspect in which we should encourage the public participation in biodiversity initiatives, and we should raise awareness and support for conservation efforts at all the levels. The importance of biodiversity is vital for ecosystem, economic sustainability, and cultural significance. Thank you.